This is a nice one. This is called, I call it the sentimental or melancholy hexatonic scale. Remember we took C major and D minor? Well, if you take C major and D diminished and keep inverting them, you get a really pretty sound. That scale would be spelled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, flat 6, 1. Compare that to major hexatonic, which is, let's do it over D so we get a pedal tone. Okay, D major hexatonic would be, the D sentimental scale would be, it sounds absolutely gorgeous when you harmonize it in thirds and fourths. So I'm going to go, in this case we'd have D major be the one chord and then 2 diminished, E diminished. So we have D major, E diminished, D major, E diminished, D major, D, E diminished, D, E diminished, D, E diminished, D. It's like, ah. You know, if you're looking for a more interesting way to practice your diminished triad inversions up and down the neck, you know, if you just practice them in isolation, E diminished, you know, it can get kind of depressing very quickly. You know, it's like, oh, it's all this doom and gloom, diminished triads. But if you'd say, you go, oh, D, E diminished, D, you have a nice pleasing chord in between. E diminished, D, E diminished, D. And any string set, you know, here's D, E diminished, D major, E diminished, D major, E diminished, D. Practice it in a variety of keys. For example, key of A. The sentimental scale would be A major and B diminished. Okay, so. That flat 6 has a very kind of hauntingly beautiful quality to it that kind of adds a little bit of saltiness to the sweetness of the major sound. This is a really cool one. I call this the Odyssey scale. And basically what it is taking 2 triads that are a tritone apart and combining them. So for example, let's take A major, E flat major, which have nothing in common. A major, listen to that, E flat major, A major, E flat major, A flat, A major. Sounds like definitely something you would hear it in a movie, in a haunted movie, you know. Suspenseful. You could do intervals like this. Yeah, I'm taking mandolin 6. Remember we learned mandolin 6? And I'm going to the next available chord tone. In this case, it would be E flat and B flat, which are a fifth. By the way, this scale, you're combining A major and E flat major. So if you line those notes up in a row, you get. That's neat. Pretty cool, huh? So, again, the 6. Do the banjo style rolls, you know? Or open voicings sound really cool. Using A major triad with a raised 2 voicing. Next inversion would be of E flat major. That would be or here, and then A major, E flat, A, E flat, A, E flat, A. That's a very musically satisfying way to practice triads, right? You have A and E flat, which have nothing in common, and you're alternating between them, and you're creating this tension release, tension release. A good way to do it is just take C and G flat. Practice your triad inversions. So that's C, G flat, second inversion, C first inversion, G flat root position, C second inversion, and then G flat first inversion, C root position, G flat second inversion, C first inversion. Pretty neat sound. The key to these hexatonic scales is simply combining any two triads that don't share any common tones. For example, A major and A minor will not give you a 6-note scale. Or A minor and C major won't give you a 6-note scale because they have common tones. You have to find ones that don't have any. For example, we looked at the Odyssey scale a minute ago. In A, that would be combining A major and E flat major triads. So you stack those notes up into a scale, you get. Very neat sound. You could probably invent some more. Here's one that's a variation on the Odyssey scale. I call this the dungeon scale because it's very dark sounding and dreary sounding. Here I took A minor and E flat minor. Two very somber sounding chords to begin with, and you combine them. If you combine them as single notes, you get. Right, because you have A, C, E, and then B flat, E flat, G flat. It's kind of tricky, but you want to work this all out. Go up and down the neck. Just take, here's A minor. Remember we learned our minor triad inversions like this? And then we learned E flat minor. If you did your homework, you did it in all these other keys, such as E flat minor. Okay, combine them or leapfrog them. You have A minor. Keep going. That's something you would probably use if you were scoring a horror film. So as a wrap-up to the hexatonic scales, if you compare them back to back, you can see how each one has a unique flavor that you can be very useful for depending on the mood you're going after. So for example, A major hexatonic, which is A major and B minor triads, will give you. And then we looked at the melancholy scale. That would be A major, B diminished. So, and then we had the wonder scale, A major and B major. If you take A major and G major, you get the Mixolydian hexatonic, what I call the leprechaun scale. And then you have the Odyssey scale, A major and E flat major. The dungeon scale. That one's really weird. And here's one more. Actually, you could take A major and B flat major. You know, just look at it as lower neighbors to B flat. You know, look at it that way, but it's great.